Hey guys, and welcome to East Coast Brewing and Barbecue. And tonight we are brewing up a Mr. Beer Bewitched Amber Ale. So let's get started. Okay, before we can get started doing this Mr. Beer Bewitched Amber Ale, we gotta have ourselves a home brew as well, because you can't do a brew night without having a home brew. Now this is one that I did on the how to make really good cheap beer, and it was actually a draft. I did this back in the spring, so it's been aging for quite a while. It's the beginning of September right now, and that's why we're doing a Bewitched Amber Ale, because an amber ale is great for late fall, early winter. Now you guys will see I'm using a mason jar. I got wise. I was using my beer glasses for these before, but this is 750 milliliters. So the problem is it wasn't fitting in the beer glass, and then I tip it back down, I drink it, I go to drink like the rest of it, like it was, you know, a third left in there, and the problem was is all the sediment had mixed up. Not that that's a bad thing. I mean, it's not going to hurt you. I mean, it doesn't taste bad or anything like that. But I like a decently clear beer, so I can pour this all the way into the mason jar. Leave that little bit behind with the sediment in it, and you're good to go. You're probably thinking, yeah, mason jar, that's pretty hillbilly redneck as you can possibly get, but hey, it works, so whatever, right? Man, you know, there's not a lot of head on this one, but it's got great taste after it's been aging for a while, and great carbonation. And you know, mason jar, whatever. I'm from Canada. We do crazy shit up here. What can you do? But yeah, if you can let your home brews age for a while, they get better. I'm not talking like wine, like, for years. I'm talking like months. I usually don't get a chance to actually age my beer because I drink them all. But hey, I had a few of these left over, so cheers to me. That's awesome. All right. Mr. Beer Bewitched Amber Ale. Now, I did a little bit of research, just checking out brewing forums, some of the Mr. Beer stuff, and just all around about amber ales. This is the first time I've done an amber ale, so I wanted to see what other people were doing, because I like to add some stuff to my brews, right? And so for the most part, I've done a little, like I said, I've done some research, and I put together some ingredients I think are going to make this, from what other people are saying. I've basically taken and kind of put it all together, and I think it's going to be good. So they're saying put in the Mr. Beer Brew Max booster. I don't have one of those, so I'm going to use 200 grams of dextrose corn sugar. That Brew Max stuff from Mr. Beer is pretty much, it's mostly dextrose corn sugar anyways, but it's got multi-dextrin and a few other things, so I mean, it's a little bit better than just dextrose, but hey, that's what we're using, okay? Then a lot of guys are using light dry malt extract or liquid malt extract. So we're going to be using some light dry malt extract. We got 250 grams of that. And then hops. I always find the Mr. Beer, they're pre-hopped extract kits, but they don't have enough hops in them. I mean, I'm not trying to be a hop head here and have like crazy amounts of hops, but I find them more malty, right? So most guys were brewing amber ales with Columbus hops and nugget hops. So I said, you know what? We're going to use them both. So we're going to use an ounce of nugget hops, or Columbus hops, and an ounce of nugget hops. I've already got those in the muslin bag ready to go. So yeah, I think that's about it. Like I said, it's about middle of September right now, so this is going to be a perfect beer for, that later fall into winter, a full-bodied hoppy beer. It's going to be awesome. And you know what? Hey, check out the logoing on there from Mr. Beer. Right? Like that. That's pretty cool. You got a witch there. It looks kind of Halloweenish. Some fall colors. So, perfect time of the year to make this one. Hey, another thing about these kits. If you haven't seen my other videos, these guys do it up right. You get your brewing extract kit. You get no rinse cleanser to cleanse your keg. You put half of it in here to do all your sanitizing, and then you keep half for when you go to do your bottling. Comes with carbonation drops, which these things are awesome. You'll probably see from my other videos, I use them all the time whenever I can get them with the kids. If I don't, then I just use dextrose corn sugar for priming my bottles. But we'll be using that when we bottle. You get your yeast, and yeah, that's what you all get in the kit. So I mean, pretty good value. So all right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to boil up 4 cups. Or actually, I'm using 5 cups of water today because we're going to be adding in a lot more ingredients. So the kit here says 4 cups, but because we're doing the other stuff, we're gonna brew it up with we're gonna start with 5 cups of boiling water on the stove. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put, once we bring it to boil, we're gonna put in our hops, and we're gonna let those steep for about 10 minutes. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove them and put them on a sanitized plate, and then we're gonna mix all our ingredients together because it's kind of hard to mix it together with this sitting in the pot flapping all around. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this back in to the keg. When we get everything put together, we're going to put it in the fermenter. We're going to drop this back in, all boiled up and sanitized. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to head over to the stove right away, and I'll show you all that. Not like drinking your own home brew. Hey, by the way, check out that how to make good cheap beer video, because these beers came in at around 30 cents a beer. So. Oh yeah, by the way, always sanitize all your equipment first. I've gone ahead and done that, and we're ready to go. All right, let's go over to the stove. All right, kiddos, it's time to mix it up. All right, okay, we brought this stuff to a boil. I put the hop bag in, or the amusement bag here, with the hops in it. Let her steep in the boiled water for about 10 minutes. I'm using my taller pot today because it's a little bit easier to pour into the keg fermenter when you're ready to pour it in than that smaller one I usually use. Okay, so we got that out. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to add in our dextrose corn sugar. Get that in there nice. That stuff dissolves really, really quick. It's really easy. Stuff that kind of gives you a little bit of grief is the dry malt extract. All right, see, that's dissolved already. All right, dry malt extract. We're ready to go. All right. We'll let that dissolve a little bit, then we'll mix it up. But first, cheers to the mason jar. I'm gonna need another one pretty soon. See, making your own beer. You know, when I used to make, or used to try people's home brew, I gotta be honest with you, it tasted crappy. I'm like, I'm never gonna do this. And then I started doing some research, and I watched some videos, and then a buddy of mine, years ago, we started doing it, and we actually started to make really good beer by actually paying attention to what we were doing, playing with some different ingredients and stuff like that. And you know, now, you can make beer for so cheap, and you can make it good. You can make it better than the stuff that you buy, like the, you know, the Miller Lite or the Coors Light. That kind of stuff. You can make it so much better, guys, and so much more satisfying than drinking your own beer. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add in the actual Mr. Beer Bewitched Amber Ale extract, pre-hopped malt extract. That stuff's thick. You know what I'm thinking? This is gonna be a pretty dark beer, more of a darker beer than an amber beer. But hey, who knows? We'll see. So I'm just gonna let this drain a bit. Now what I did is I boiled up a small pot of water, because what I do is I pour it into here to get the rest of this out, because there's a ton in here. Look at that. That's awesome. Some people might think that's gross, but it's awesome. I don't know if you can see that yet. So I got this pot of hot water. Sometimes I use the kettle, but to be honest with you, my wife put the kettle somewhere, can't find it. So, I don't know. No idea where it went, so I'm just going to stir this up. Get some of this mixed up in here to get it out. And once you've done that, always a good idea to have some oven mitts ready to go, because the outside of this can is pretty hot. So we're just going to mix this up a bit. And then, oh hey, by the way, I was going to tell you, I forgot to mention at the beginning, we're going to be doing this brewing of this beer, and we're going to do the bottling as well as the taste test all in this video. So hang in there. If you're getting bored already, go grab a beer and come back. You'll be entertained. By the way, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. You know, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing some good stuff here. Got my Saskatchewan Rough Rider oven mitts. They're kind of dirty, but hey, they do the trick. There we go. Pretty much got the rest of it right out of there. All right. Now all we're going to do is we're just going to mix this up, get it good and mixed together, and then we're going to pour it into the Mr. Beer keg fermenter. So first thing you're going to want to do with your keg fermenter, once it's sanitized, is fill it to the 1 gallon mark with really cold water. Okay? Alright, I'll be right back, well actually within seconds here, and we will pour this into the keg. Alright, I forgot to show you, if you wanted to see what this stuff looks like before you put it into the keg. It's just, well, just a dark brown, they call it wort. And yeah, that's our dry malt extract, our dextrose corn sugar, and the pre-hopped malt extract from Mr. Beer, Bewitched Amber Ale. Alright, that's what it looks like. I wasn't able to give you a shot of it while we were putting stuff in there just because of the angle, so there you go. Okay guys, this part always sketches me out, pouring this pot into this little hole. And the reason being is because there's been lots of times I've spilled it over the side and made a mess. I mean, it doesn't really waste too much, but it makes a mess of your keg, it makes a mess of your table. So maybe I should have a little more home brew, that'll help. Oh, that's good. Alright, let's do it. Okay, so I got this filled up with cold water up to the 1 gallon mark back here. And we've got our hops. So we're going to put those in. There we go. Moment of truth. Can we pour this in without making a mess? I don't know. What do you guys think? Alright, here we go, boys and girls. Oh. Oh, a little bit of dry malt extract that never got mixed up there. Just pour it in there, I see. That's alright, we'll mix that up. Like a professional. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to top this up with cold water to the 2 gallon mark. So I'm going to do that. You don't need to watch that. I'll be right back. Okay. We have it topped up to the 2 gallon mark with cold water. So we're going to go ahead and just give it a really good mix up here. Get everything all mixed up really good. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take a hydrometer reading, because I want to figure out what our starting gravity is and what our finishing gravity is, so we can figure out what the alcohol percentage is going to be of this Bewitched Amber Ale. And so that should be good enough. So we're going to do this, take the hydrometer reading, and then we'll put the yeast in so that we can actually make beer. Alright, let's move this over to the edge of the table. Nice and easy. There we go. Got our hydrometer. It's always good to have, these are cheap to buy, you guys, so if you're into brewing, you want to, If you don't care what alcohol content's in your beer, then no big deal, don't worry about it. But if you want to know, then this is a good way to do it. So, you know, we're going to let this settle down just a little bit so that the bubbles are gone, and then we'll take a reading, or we'll see what the reading is. But while we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and put in our yeast. Now the Mr. Beer instructions say not to stir it around. It says just to leave it on top. But if you've seen my other videos, I always stir it. And if you're wondering why, I believe, it's just my own personal opinion here, that if you stir it around, it starts to actually activate it quicker. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm full of it, I don't know. But I actually have done it where you just sprinkle it on top before, and it's worked out fine. And then I've done it with mixing it around, and it's worked out fine as well. So let's go ahead and actually there. Close her up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to let this sit for 21 days, and then we're going to be back to bottle it. So let's see what our reading is here. Let's see what we can get her at here. It's sometimes really hard to tell. Wow, okay, it's going to be pretty high in alcohol, I think. Probably from the, this is supposed to be about 5.5. Just straight up out of the hop extract can. But seeing that we added in the additional dextrose corn sugar and the extra dry malt extract, it's hard to tell because those bubbles are still there, but you know what, it's looking like it's going to be around it's going to be 1.062. I'll update you on the next video, or when we go to actually taste test it and do our final gravity. But yeah, it's looking like 1.062. So we'll calculate that out with our final gravity and figure out what the alcohol content is. But I think it's probably going to turn out to be a tasty yet potent amber ale. It's going to be perfect for around Halloween. It's going to be scary. Okay, I'll be back. Hey guys, how's it going? It is ready to bottle. It's been 21 days, and now we are going to bottle our Bewitched Amber Ale from Mr. Beer with the extra hops. So, what are we going to do? Well, we've got our bottles all nice and sanitized with the sanitizer that comes with the kit. And now we're going to put our carbonation drops that come in the kit. Now, if you guys don't have these, you can just use the recommended amount of dextrose sugar to prime your bottles. But these things, they come with those kits most times, and you know what, they're super convenient, super easy to use. You drop 2 of them in here, into each bottle I mean, and you're good to go. And you know what, they are super easy, super quick. And if you've seen any of my other videos before, you'll know I always say this, but these things carbonate your beer perfectly every single time. So we're just going to go ahead and get this done. As you can see, we're back in the mini brewery here again. I'm going to be doing some renovations down here in the basement. In the next little while, I'm going to be building some more shelves around here. Alright. That's got her. Alright. Those are sanitized. Our caps are sanitized. Before we get started here, gotta have a home brew. That's good. This is still that batch from that video, how to make good cheap beer, and it actually turned out good, and it's aged really good, so it's, you know, it's awesome. If you guys can let your beer age a little bit, it turns out so much better. Personally, I usually don't get to that point because well, I end up drinking them. That's awesome. Now you'll see I've got the Mr. Beer keg up on an angle. All I do is I just put it on a book, get a nice angle, flows good, and you're good to go. So there you go. I always check, make sure I put in 2, and then we just start filling. Just like this. I'll leave a little bit of room at the top here. Perfect. Just like that. Oh, you know what else we got to do? I almost forgot. Almost forgot. We got to take a hydrometer reading so we know what our alcohol content is. Not quite enough to float it yet. There we go. Okay, we'll let that settle down. We'll take a look at that after. Now remember, we started at 106.2, so I'm interested to see what we finish off at. So I'll figure out, or I'll grab the reading here today, and then I'll do the calculation. Then when we go to do the taste test, I'll let you guys know what the percentage it comes in at. All right. Now you guys have probably seen me do this before. These PET bottles, I give them a little squeeze like this to get all the air out. And then boom, just cap it up like that. Now I've had a lot of people tell me that I shouldn't do that and I should leave a little bit of headspace in there. I don't know. I've been doing this every single time, and you know what? It's turned out perfectly every single time. Give it a couple of inverts, get those carbonation drops nice and mixed up in there, let them carbonate. So I'm going to go ahead, finish up filling these up. We'll cap them, and then we're going to do a taste test. I know one thing, definitely have to crush another one of these after this. Oh man. Okay, everything is bottled up and ready to start carbonating. Done a couple of inverts of these bottles here, so they're ready to go. So what I did is I actually ended up calculating out the ABV on this actually while I took that little break there. It came out at 1013 was the finishing gravity or whatever you call it, and so we started at 1062, finished off at 1013, so it's just under 6.5% alcohol. Whoa. Okay, so it's going to be a pretty it's going to be a pretty big beer, but that's okay. I'm Canadian. We can handle that stuff, right? So, but it does smell good. You know what? I think we should probably give it a little taste. What do you think? Probably not a bad idea. I mean, yeah, it is flat and it's not conditioned, so. That's going to be pretty good, I think. It's got a nice bitter finish so far. I mean, obviously you don't get a really good taste for it until you're done conditioning it and carbonating and all that stuff, but it smells good. It tastes good, but it's going to taste even better. Ha! All right. What else can I tell you? I got to clean this up, I guess. Now I'll clean that all out, but yeah. Mr. Beer Bewitched Amber Ale. You know what? If you haven't got one of these Mr. Beer kits, one of these little kegs, you know what? Go out and order one. Get them on. If you live in the U.S., you can get them right from Mr. Beer. Bed Bath & Beyond has them. Cabela's has them. Walmart has them. But it's a great way to get into brewing. And it's a great way to stay in brewing too, because I mean these small batches, these 2-gallon batches, are so easy to deal with. They're easy to mix up, as you can see. They're easy to bottle. Just a few bottles is all you have to, clean and sanitize and fill. It's not a huge process. It's not a big process. You can tweak these. Mr. Beer has a lot of really good recipes actually on their site, where you can actually do partial mashes and partial extract. And yeah, anyways, these kits are really awesome because it comes with the extract, carbonating drops, cleanser, boom, you're good to go. Yeah. What else I got for you? That's about all I really had to say for now. Oh, this stuff's gonna be ready just in time for Halloween. So I'm gonna post this video on Halloween. So if you're watching it right now and it's like the first day that's out, it's Halloween. But yeah, I'm gonna post this on Halloween because it's gonna be ready just in time. Okay, we'll be back to do the taste test. Okay, so I said I was gonna release this on Halloween. Well, I lied, because this is before Halloween. Now, if you're watching this on Halloween, hey, happy Halloween. But you know what? This ended up being ready a little bit earlier than I thought it would be. Mind you, I could have let it condition up until Halloween, but you know what? I just couldn't wait. So I gave the bottles a couple of good squeezes here, and they're pretty firm, so I'm hopeful that, you know what? It's going to be good. It's been 15 days since we bottled, so you know what? Let's give it take it for a spin and see what happens, right? So, here you go. Bewitched Amber Ale. Right on. Okay. I just rinsed out my glass. It's ready to go. So let's give it a pop and see what happens. You know what? Actually, let's see if I can get this off without... Nope. I always over tighten these things. I don't know why. It's like I can't help it. Well, it's got some fizz. So it's obviously got a little bit of carbonation in it. Now, obviously, this is going to be better as it conditions. So you know what I might do is I might save one, and actually in a couple of months, maybe I'll do like a revisit of what it's like when it's aged. But hey, let's give it a pour and see what happens. Right on. It's looking pretty good. All right, guys, hold that thought. I'm going to pour the rest in a secondary glass here, okay? I don't have my mason jar with me tonight. If you guys have seen the other videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. All right. Let's just put that there, that there. All right, guys, this is looking pretty good. Wow, okay. Look at that. Now, you know what? It's a darker amber ale, that's for sure. Now, it's more of a ruby. Let's give it a flashlight. Put a flashlight on her. All right. You know what? I got to get a better flashlight because this one it's almost too bright for you guys, you know? But you can see it's a ruby color. If we hold it up against here, have it sitting right there, see? It's more of a ruby amber, which is good. But you notice something, and I've noticed this with all the Mr. Beers. Compared to the picture, like look at that, right? They're always darker than it is on the box. So what is that, marketing? I don't know. But they always, even the lagers are darker than like a lager you'd buy in the store, which, you know what, typically probably a real lager is, because all these commercial lagers are, and well, commercial beers are, well, they're not really, they're not a true beer, like a true traditional brewing of beer, a craft beer, right? So anyways, long story short, it is a lot darker than the box, but hey, whatever. Now, as you can see, not a lot of head retention on there. You know what, that's okay. It's pretty young, so I'm not too worried about that. Carbonation wise, it's looking pretty good and carbonated. Oh man, okay. You can definitely, okay, we put in those Columbus and those Nugget hops. I'm getting a bit of those. I think they're just going to accent it. Basically, what I'm getting is a toffee and a caramel malty aroma, a little bit of hop aroma, not a lot. So hey, let's take it for a spin, see what happens. Cheers. Okay, that's all right. Right off the get-go, you do get almost like a coffee toffee caramel, malty, across the tongue, and then finishes off with just a sharp bitterness. Not like insane bitter, like lingering bitter, just a hit of bitter. And I don't know if that's from the hops. You know what, those Nugget and those Columbus hops, they're around a 14 to 18% alpha acid, so they're not going to be crazy bitter. So maybe that's just it. Carbonation wise, after 14 or 15 days, it's not bad at all. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's exactly what it probably should be for an amber ale. Wow, this is a really good amber ale. You know, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, this one, and you know what? It's nice and warming. Now that might be that 6.5% alcohol is giving me a little bit of warming. Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, hey, brew this kid up. It's good. I would definitely give this guy about a 4 out of a 5. Why not a full 5? Well, here's the thing. I never give 5s. I mean, you just don't. Well, there you go. That's the Mr. Beer Bewitched Amber Ale with the additional hops. You know what? I don't think you actually even had to add the additional hops. You know what? I'd recommend you don't, because I don't think you really need to, because they didn't really do much, to be honest with you. I think this beer straight up is going to be awesome. So, as always, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. You know what? The more subscribers I get, at the time of this video, I don't have a ton of subscribers. So, hey, if you hit that subscribe button, man, I'd be so stoked, because, hey, you know what? I don't make any money off these videos or anything like that. So, apparently now with the new YouTube stuff, you need, I don't know how many views, and you need like 1,000 subscribers. So, as you guys can see by my subscribers, I'm definitely not making any money. But you know what? That's not why I started doing this anyways. I like to brew beer. I like to share brewing beer and connect with people that like brewing beer as well. So, hey, hit me up in the comments if you guys have done this beer. Let me know. You know, let me know what you thought of it. If you have any questions about this beer, let me know. Or any other beer. Let's talk. But anyways, thanks for watching. Cheers.